Thank you. So Ayurveda. Sushruta, who's the greatest, one of the greatest Ayurvedic doctor, Ayurvedic scholar, he wrote in his text, what is health? Swastha Purusha, or healthy person. So he described healthy person as one whose doshas, which is personal constitutions, you've probably all heard about this, Vata, Pitta, Kapha doshas, and personal constitution are balanced. One whose Agni, which is digestive fire or transformational fire, is balanced. One whose dhatus or body tissues, we have 7 tissues in our body, like vital tissues according to Ayurveda, are balanced, and malas, which is waste, are eliminated normally. One whose indriya, senses, manas, mind, and atma, consciousness, we can call it soul or the self, are calm and clear. Such a one is called Swastha Purusha, a healthy person. So, why we need to be healthy? That's the question. And that's when we rooted this question back to connection between yoga and Ayurveda. It's a two sister sciences, and as yoga, Ayurveda shares the same spiritual goals. It's to liberate moksha. But before that, we need to connect ourselves to true self, and we need for this to be a healthy person, the perfectly healthy person with a healthy physical body, with a healthy mind, and with a, we can say, healthy spirit. It's a two goals, it's two aims of Ayurveda. It's one, it's to protect and maintain the health of human beings through our lifespan, and the second, to cure diseases, disorders, or imbalances in our body and mind. And main focus is to prevention of diseases and promotion of positive health. I want to say so much to you about Ayurveda and yoga. So it's again, in order to get to that main goal of our life, to find our true self, to find that highest consciousness, we need to be healthy. Thank you, ma'am.
So very honored to represent Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram in this dais. So as she said, yes, there is a prevalent, idea that yoga is all about. That's how it's publicized in the photo. Pata yoga studio pata, convoluted postures, very fit and slim people but that is not the norm actually. Yoga, yes, physical fitness is very very essential for us to perform our duties, take care of our responsibilities. Actually, body should not be an impediment towards your spiritual growth. So ரொம்ப important to be physically fit. But yoga influences much beyond that. So just to asana is important. So what is considered yoga is only part of it, asana, which is the general idea. But yoga is beyond that. And if you practice asana with the breath, that's what we do at Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, and practice of pranayama. All that works at the level of the prana in the body, which is the life force. So the prana inside our body is responsible for a lot of all the functions. Okay. So by doing asana and pranayama, what happens is the prana circulation inside the body improves, which in turns makes all the function work better. So any abnormality in the functions of the body will get corrected because of the prana that circulates inside the body. So this is the therapeutic reason, actually.
Thank you, ma'am. To take tips from both Veena and Sri Vidya, the idea of yoga today is generally asana and pranayama. It is not so, it is much more than that. It is almost a way of living. And yoga has many, many tools, including what we call meditation, making choices, speaking the truth, living with cleanliness, not harming anybody, being happy and content with what we have. These are all actually tools that have been given to us. Some of them have been taught to us when we were born in our families itself. And later we learn yoga asana and yoga pranayama when either we're unwell. We come to it, especially these days. So when we're talking about mental health, and today more than anything, this is a topic that is being widely discussed and very, very important to understand, because take, for example, these 2-3 years of COVID. Something happened externally. Yes, it was a huge catastrophe. We're still facing people struggling with what COVID has done to them. Either they've been affected by the illness or just the whole world, how it turned upside down. So it's very safe to say that almost everyone was extremely troubled when something external hit. COVID. External maybe to the whole world, and also personally, if you've been affected by COVID, you've lost people. Using that as an example, using people who go to work every day, either sit at a computer and you're bent over the computer and you're typing, you're coding, you're thinking, you hardly get up and move. These kind of lifestyles will definitely lead to even physical difficulties. You will have your back pain, you'll have your slip discs, you will have digestion issues, sedentary lifestyle leads to diabetes perhaps. Now all these are going to affect your mental state. So where is the mental health at that point? So yoga will definitely care for you in the manner that if you practice regularly, you are going to, like ma'am said, your prana is going to improve. The prana in the body is going to help your organs function better. And when all these are functioning so much better within us, health, your physical health, and certainly your mental health, you are going to be happier. You are not going to be unhappy. You're not going to be anxious and stressed out. You will live a life happily and smoothly. So you're not going to have your body and your mind stopping you from doing what you need to do. Work for yourself, for your family, provide. So definitely yoga, whether it's the asanas and pranayama or the other tools of yoga, definitely going to help your mental health. That's what I'd like to say.
very nice and very easy to say. Yeah, personally, I can share. I was diagnosed with some ailment, private, like a women problem, and the doctor said that there is no choice and you have to remove your uterus. And all of us at our family, we were all panic. I was eldest of the family, and they say it was something a shock to us. And when I approached one person, he said, she's my first teacher, and she said, yoga can help. And that's when I thought, I'll learn this yoga. And then that brought me interest. Along with medication, I was also practicing this yoga. Then I became a yoga teacher. But what I suggest is this yoga has really brought that confidence into me, the faith. The earlier, your own teacher who was saying, the faith follows. The practice. First you start practicing. He was telling the faith followed. Right? And it is more than 20 years now, and I have not removed my uterus and I'm functioning well. It's a personal experience, and I've personally experienced this yoga can work on your internal organs along with medication, and after some point of time the medication is not needed, but initially whatever the homeopathy or allopathy, whatever the medication, along with it, when you keep practicing, when you're committed to the practice, that helps. This is for the physical. And for the mental, I used to get very angry and anxious about achieving. All the time I should be the winner in whatever the campaign or contest, I should be the winner, and there'll always be a fear element in me. Will I do it? Will I do it? Always that uncertainty in me. But after started practicing yoga and meditation, it's a holistic in Shivananda. For they always encourage us, or they make us work for the physical, mental and spiritual. It's not one physical alone. No. It's a combination of practice. So when all the three were trained and practiced, and after I became a teacher in Shivananda, when I did my TTC, teacher training course, I started feeling the practice is making me calm and composed. And automatically with the practice, the lower emotions, fear, anger, greed, jealousy, hatredness, all things, they slowly fade away from you and bring the positivity in you without even you putting so much of effort into it. Just the practice. You need to commit for the practice. Keep practicing, you will experience all this on your own. This is my personal experience, and with that personal experience, when I'm teaching, my students are also getting the same energy. My teacher always says, what you have, you can pass it on. I have personally experienced all this when I pass it on with the same teaching, and they also get the same kind of benefit. Yeah? Thank you.
I'll start with telling, like Swami Vishnudevananda, who was the founder of Shivananda organization, he was sent by his master Swami Shivananda to West, to America, to spread the yoga, like the greatest wisdom of the earth. And he was traveling in North America, and he was trying to teach yoga the way he was teaching in Himalayas. But it didn't quite work because of the different energy, different people have a different lifestyle. So he came up with the 5 points of yoga, which is like proper exercise, which is asanas, proper breathing, pranayama, proper relaxation, savasana, proper diet, which is vegetarian but also sattvic diet, and meditation and positive thinking. So we apply these 5 points of yoga through every day, on every aspect of life. And that means you can practice yoga every moment. Just remembering not thinking about benefits, but how you practice. Whatever you do, you practice asanas, or again you meditate, or you just chanting, you saying prayers or mantras with full awareness. So not just repeating some text or some body exercise, would say. But once we bring awareness to our practice, that means we bring yoga to our life. And again, remembering the main goal of Ayurveda, which is again, it's to find our true self, to find way to moksha, to liberate, and enjoying the benefits. Because if we'll just focus on benefits and we think how long it's gonna take, we go away from the yoga. We just going back to our senses, back to our physical body, how good I'm gonna look, how good I'm gonna think maybe. But once we withdraw all the senses and again bring full awareness to the practice, that's when we'll start to get real benefits. And those benefits help us on a long journey to our true selves. No,
So prevalently, a common problem is mostly musculoskeletal issues. So the current lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle, working so many hours, as Uttara ma'am said, so many hours working at the system, and newly there's too many hours with the smartphone. So a lot of neck issues, back issues, spinal issues, and knee pain. These are all musculoskeletal issues which are very common. And of course, yoga therapy is different from physiotherapy because it's just, we do give movements to fix the problems, but it goes beyond that. We work at the breath level, we work at the prana, we work at the level of the mind. So this is one of the very, very common problem that we get, high in number, percentage if you see. But the other problems like acidity or asthma, wheezing, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and currently post-pandemic and generally the current generation, because of the social media, there are a lot of anxiety and depression issues, even in young generation. So these are the very, very common problems that we address. And we do a lot of subtle tools of yoga. It's just not the postures. And one uniqueness about Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandaram is we actually address each of the student individually. So it is all a one-on-one class. So we actually find out about the physical, physiological, the mental condition of the student. So we actually assess them, and depending on where they live, what kind of work they do, how much time they have for practice, because sustained practice, as she said, is very, very important. So if I'm going to tell them, okay, every morning you wake up at 5 to 1 hour of practice, it's not going to work for everybody. So we consider all these factors, and it's very individual specific, using asanas. We'll give some pranayama. It depends on the student, and depending on their belief, we'll introduce some chanting using some mantra. So it's a very holistic approach, and we ensure, as Sri Desikacharya says, yoga is independence. So we ensure that we teach them, and we ensure that we teach them well, that they go practice on their own daily, which is the most important thing for them to come out of this. And ultimately, it's prevention. So that is the main aim, prevention. So the goal of ultimate aim of yoga is heyam dukkham anagatam. So prevent future suffering. So that's what we try to empower the student with.
Step by step, the more and more you get the flexibility deeply into yourself, perfection automatically comes. So it's applicable to all the health, all the age group people, and to people who have certain difficulties. For example, The simple basic leg raises. If one cannot do the double leg raises, the teachers always can tell you the adapted way of doing it. Fold one leg and lift the other leg up. Slowly, when they get the flexibility, they'll be able to do it perfectly. Right? So that way, when the teachers at Shivananda are trained to understand each and every student, what is their health constraint, what is their ability constraint, or they can do it freely. Accordingly, they will teach the yoga. So it's for everybody. Everybody can practice yoga and everybody can feel the difference into their own self. By keep on practicing, they will get into perfection in the pose and get the benefit. You ask for the benefit, right? You also experience the benefit when you committed to the practice. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The whole practice of yoga, eating well, thinking well, being happy. Being happy means without difficulty. Now, all of us, either on this panel or here, by and large, we can associate the key moments in our life with some problem or the other, right? Either an accident or something that has caused us discomfort, or issues with ourselves, like if we are angry, impatient, judgmental, whatever it is. So the practice of yoga doesn't say that you won't have problems ever in life. But when you practice yoga, it gives you the strength, the energy, the foresight to cope with these very, very well. So when something impacts us, you don't react as badly and let it affect you as badly as it could. So yoga gives you that strength, like you're full of a good or a positive prana, or you're filled with it. So you don't get sucked down. That is something definitely the practice of yoga, whatever, whether it's asana, pranayama, chanting, meditation, that is definitely something. Now, the whole point is that yoga also teaches you to understand yourself better, to see where you are at any point of time, right? And to take you to some place better. When I started practicing yoga regularly, it definitely impacted the way I cook. Now, it may sound like a silly thing, but definitely, I'm feeding people, I'm feeding them better food. So it impacts so many other people also just by me practicing yoga. And very, very importantly, it helps you maintain and build or develop very good relationships with others. None of us live in isolation. I have to interact with each one. So yoga really helps, you live very well in your community, and, your energy helps other people. The way you interact with your friends, your spouse, your parents, your children, it makes things a lot more harmonious and with less difficulty, that's for sure. And who doesn't want to live like that,